Hello and welcome to the DPNBA podcast. My name is Sean. Joining me today is the one and only Marco Boffa, Marco Forden, Marco Berries, Marco Hoppin, Marco. How are we doing, man?
Good, mate. How are you?
Remember the old Kevin O'Connor and the other guy?
Ah, yeah. Zach Lowe's one now is "What up, Beck?"
Yeah, no, that's time. I tell you what, that's actually not new.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Well, it's the one that I'm hearing the most. The most these days.
Weekly, getting hard back on the weekly. I'm actually so happy Zach Lowe's back. This is gonna LSU is probably just writhing in his teaching uniform right now. But Zach Lowe's the reason I studied journalism, right? So I'm fucking over the moon he's back. And he's been saying "What up, Beck?" Since 2015.
Yeah, right. Okay.
He said what's your do you know what the story is?
No.
So it's what's your most proudest moment as an NBA journalist? And he goes, I'd been doing a couple of rounds for ESPN or whatever. And then it's Kobe had Kobe was on a hot streak or something, or whatever it was, or maybe it was a bit of a down period, and then there was sort of rumors that maybe he's he was a bit hungover or whatever. It's maybe he played in LA that day, right? And so he was wearing sunglasses doing the post-game interview, and there's just a media scrum all around him, and then Howard Beck rocks up late and he sort of rushes up, and then Kobe Bryant looks up, pulls his glasses down and goes, "What up, Beck?" And he's like, "I've never felt cooler in my life." Kobe Bryant, potentially hungover, has just taken off his glasses and said, "What up, Beck?"
Yeah, right.
So
that's pretty dope.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he needs to say it once every 6 months. Right?
Yeah. He says it. I can't hear it once a week. Yeah.
But for you, he needs to refresh the news.
Oh, right. I need the story.
Yeah. Because without it, that is cringe.
Yeah. But there's stuff we say on this pod to a much smaller audience. And people, if there are any new listeners out there, they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck's a kimono?
In fact,
who's George Lucas?
There are things we regularly say that have never exited the group chat until the moment we say them on a podcast, and that's terrible. That's just absolutely shocking stuff. And you do it for a tiny little snicker from your co-host? God,
I'm a little slut for I said Optus Sport Warrior today, which is a play on our own term, box score warrior.
Yeah. Beeline spirits. There you go. See, no one understands that one.
Ange Postacog.
Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah.
Posta Europa.
He got it done. Do you reckon it saved his skin?
I thought so. That's why I've been rooting for Tottenham.
Yeah.
But Dante, ever the pessimist, he gets it from his mother, he's cautiously pessimistic. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome, we'll keep him around. Maybe he'll have a good year next year." And all of a sudden he's back in the top 6. And he's they've just qualified for Champions League, right? They're obviously an 18th place club, right? They've qualified for Champions League. If they have any injuries, they're going to be shelling, that's just going to be more pressure on them, right? I reckon Ruben Amorim is happy that he lost because he can just focus on the league next year.
Yeah, right.
I was fucking hell, man. Anyway,
I don't know. I think the fact that they didn't fight, there had to be an inflection point where they were so far down in the standings, but had enough of a chance in the Europa League where they were like, "All right, Ange, do we keep you around because you're going to win this for us, or do we keep you around and if you win it, we'll keep you next year?" Otherwise fire him in fucking Feb.
No, but it's Ten Hag, he won the FA Cup. Wow, cool, he got a bit of hardware.
Yeah, but that's Manchester United who have 120 pieces of hardware. This is Tottenham Hotspur who haven't won a cup yet.
I made the joke this morning that the last time Tottenham won a piece of hardware, GTA 5 just came out.
Wow, that's pretty good, man.
Thanks, man. We're doing a pod. I haven't done an episode of the Z2MBR podcast since I did the over-under recap.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've done the Star Wars
6 weeks
pod.
ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was April 10th. We've done the Star Wars pod, and I've done a few quick time outs for Sean Carroll. I'm Sean Carroll. Because I messaged you right after the over-unders with Dante. It's end of season, it's giving season. And then I was like, "Hey man, you've come on for the awards predictions, you've come on for the mid-season award updates twice, so it's let's just make Marco the awards guy, right?" And you're like, "Mate, I love awards. This sounds sick." all the awards start coming out. Kenny Atkinson, coach. Like, I actually kind of want to quiz you and just say, do you remember some of like who won what?
Kenny Atkinson, coach, like you just said. Evan Mobley, DPOI.
Who was
much improved? Dyson Daniels.
It was,
That's probably the one to be excited about.
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard, 6-man.
Yeah.
And is that all of them apart from the big kahuna?
Rookie.
Rookie, Stefan Castle.
Yeah, that was quite bad. But see, you love awards. But then
Award for getting the most awards.
but who won Clutch Player of the Year?
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, good. They mentioned
Well, not
I
today.
was like, fuck, forgot about that. So we were like, okay, cool. Come on when we do the awards, and they just didn't announce MVP for 6 weeks.
So long.
Insane.
And the gap between whenever they announced the last award and today, when they announced the MVP, it's unbelievable.
It's stupid, and also these guys met in the playoff series, and you always announce it either first round, second round.
Yeah. It was at the point where veteran NBA journalists on all sides of the coin were like, the ones who, when you're getting frustrated that the MVP hasn't come out, they're like, fuck, man. I remember when Patrick Ewing, blah, 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 blah.
Eddie's first kid, Patrick Ewing Jr.
It was at the point when they were like, why haven't they announced the award? Has Adam Silver forgotten it?
Yeah. Is it Giannis? Whoops. So that's why there's been a long break between innings. But we're back. Sorry, I've got the newsworthy bit. We go, okay, cool, fuck it. Let's just record Thursday, man. I just want to do a pod conference finals. Let's just talk. You're like, bang, see you there, man. Fucking whatever. MVP or no MVP, there's conference finals on. This morning, wake up, MVP.
Yeah.
It is.
And you messaged like the moment the notification came through.
Because I was awake, so obviously watch it.
Yeah.
5:50.
True. Of course.
Yeah, I'm not waking up through the night checking the Bleacher Report. Oh, fuck, this one's Calamari. It's out for 3 weeks.
At trade deadline, sometimes my cat will wake me up at 3 a.m. and I'll be like, that's crazy.
And actually, it's like you get cool dreams after that. You're like, God, would I have paid Trey Lyles after having it down yet? It's pretty good. But yeah, we will. I guess we've already talked about the awards.
No, we'll return to the MVP at the end of this pod because there's a discussion to be had. I'm sure most people can imagine what it is, but the
in fact, keep imagining it.
Yeah. But
pressing.
The pressing matter is that the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks was on today, and I happened to have a day off from work, a very, very, very rare day off from work, which I dedicated to watching this game, basically. It was like 3.5 hour runtime. And you just fucking...
I'm just a fucking slap.
Yeah, you just watch whatever NBA you want. No, man, you're really accomplished in your professional life. It was just... I think in a playoffs that's exceeded expectations again and again and again, one of the best games of the playoffs. Like when the juice went out of it in the middle of the fourth quarter, you're like, fuck, all right, well, I guess this is what happens when you get to the conference finals. We saw it happen to Mini against OKC yesterday. And then another Indiana Pacer comeback from absolutely nowhere.
Insane, and led by Aaron Nesmith, who's guarding one of the best offensive players left in the league right now. He hit 8 threes. He was 8 of 9, which is a career high in regular season or playoffs. But it's just absurd. Like, we've seen the Pacers come back. This is their third absurd comeback now. This seems like the most absurd. Like, the other ones were like, okay, there is a defensive hole on the other team. Tyrese is going to get them on an island and then just like sort of pick them apart. This was like Aaron Nesmith fading threes. Josh Hart slipped. He was lucky enough to get open, just banged his three, and then so cool.
It's Obi Toppin, like offensive rebound. I think the run started with this just like very innocuous Pascal Siakam and one. So you're like, well, let him get a few back. And just fueled this insane run. And Nesmith, I think he had 20 points in the fourth quarter, which is including like 4 back-to-back threes. The last of them, which was just ridiculous, so cool. Ridiculously off balance. yeah, like I mean, we mentioned this, but like, what a value get for a player like that.
Yeah.
Like that, not only is he guarding the best player on the other team, and like, yeah, Jalen Brunson had 40 points.
Yeah,
you know, but it didn't feel. It didn't feel like a game-winning 40 points. It never was like, far out, Jalen Brunson's putting this game away. He just he racked them up. Naismith did everything that he could. And yeah, to back it up on the other end is just so impressive.
Yeah, nothing else was working for the Knicks. Like, Cat got off pretty hot. Everyone started pretty hot, actually.
Yeah.
Even Evan Turner.
Yeah.
You said Evan Turner was doing his LaMarcus Aldridge impersonation. Miles Turner. Who did I say?
Evan Turner. Yeah. He hit like three midi jumpers, like very deep. One very high off the glass. I think Indy were 9 of 9, like to start the game.
It's so much fun. This is maybe going to be the most exciting series of the whole entire playoffs.
Yes.
But yeah, Carlton started off hot. He finished with 35 and 12, but it's just down the end. It was like, okay, where's Jalen Brunson? Has he got 6 fouls? No, he doesn't. He's got 5. All right, let's try and do something. And then the thing he tried to do was just bump into Aaron Naismith, and then they would both hit each other. The rest would just have to call it, or they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They would just keep bumping into each other.
Yeah.
And most of the time, Jalen Brunson gets those calls, and I hope for the rest of the series he doesn't. There were definitely fouls going from Naismith, and Naismith was like visibly pissed off, like, and actually hitting him, which is awesome, right? That's what you want out of the playoffs. You want this dude who's just like, repeating.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was because they had no other options. Like OG Anunoby, 6 of 15 from the floor. Like, you know, you'd say an average shooting number, 15 shots from OG to get 16 points. Not incredible. I can report that Suni Lee was in attendance, but Anne Hathaway wasn't. So maybe there's something there.
How did that affect
Tom
him?
Thibodeau can do in the future. But yeah, just let's talk about the shot a little bit. The shot from Tyrese Haliburton, who, you know, they did the whole back and forth thing we don't like basketball with the fouls and blah 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 blah, and they had a shot they were down by 2 points, and then Tyrese obviously got past his man. They peel switched him onto Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
The footy flaps. Mitchell Robinson, he went into the paint, was like, okay, this person is huge. I want to quickly do my Tyrese Haliburton thing and tiptoe back in 3 steps. Tiptoe just on the line, hit a shot. Mitchell Robinson actually had a like wind up swat at the ball.
Yeah.
Not even a real contest, just like, well, imagine making this. And then when it first bounced on the rim, did you think it was going to?
No, absolutely not. Like, it did not look like a good shot. It did not. But then, like, once it was at its apex, I was like, well, even if this doesn't look like it's going to go in, it's going to go in. Like, just in one of those, Kawhi fucking game 7 moments, where you're like, I can't believe this is going in. And also, because it takes so long to come down, it's run the shot clock out and ended the game. Then Hallie immediately goes for the Reggie Miller choke. He's been saving it all playoffs for exactly this moment.
Yeah, I messaged my mate Harry because we were talking about it while we were also talking to the group chat. He's like, how cool, like, to get the choke off. And it's like, yeah, I reckon every Indiana Pacer, as soon as they get to the Pacers, we're just like, God, if I'm ever in the playoffs against the New York Knicks and I hit a game winner after they choke a lead, oh my God.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. And it was the coolest choke ever.
Yeah.
But it was wrong.
Yeah.
Because it just went to overtime.
I know. And thank God they got it done in overtime. Because if they had it would have been just one of those terrible basketball images for the rest of the series. I think if you're either team, what do you take away from this game? There was a funny, at the beginning of the fourth, when it was still quite close, and then the Knicks got out to like an 18-point lead at its peak or something like that. Brunson was actually sitting for a good portion of that because he had 5 fouls at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and they just managed to string some like pretty good offense together through Cat. They were beating Indy on the boards at that point, but then I had and this Knicks team has so much more depth than its previous iterations. Like they have 7 really good basketball players and campaign, which, you know, like
too much campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like, you know, I don't like campaign. I think he's bad. But if he's the 8th guy in your rotation and you're Tom Thibodeau and you usually don't go past the 7th guy, you can maybe get away with 8 minutes for campaign. And like he's been to the finals. Like, I mean, you know, I'm not saying he propelled the Phoenix Suns on that run or anything like that.
But it's like it's not Ty Jerome.
Yeah, he's not deer in the headlights. But then I think like the Pacers' depth in that fourth quarter was just incredible because they brought Ben Shepherd on, isn't it? Yeah, and he played 7 minutes in that quarter. I think he took 1 shot, had 1 assist, and just like was just there for the entire run, like guarding the hell out of New York's guards and wings. And then Obi Toppin as well, who like I hate it when he's on the floor. I really, really, really hate it. And they went to some lineups with him and Siakam as the 2 bigs, both in the fourth quarter. And I don't think Miles Turner touched the floor in overtime, did he?
No, he didn't, which is crazy. He finished with 31 minutes. Obadiah Toppin had 20 minutes.
20. God. Yeah, but and then again, it just looked really good because it was like you have a guy who can move his feet a bit more with New York's, wings and guards. He was excellent on the boards, like for all they've done to address their rebounding. Like it was very satisfying to see the Pacers just like out rebound them in that in that stretch in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Because that was a real strength of them when they were on top in this game. And then I think at a time the defense was just dreadful for the first half. Like it was just like
both sides.
New York gave the Pacers all that. They're like, all right, well we'll let Miles Turner take a long 2, and it's like, all right, well we'll let we'll give Nembhard like 1 step of space and let him take a shot, and it's like, well, they hit every single one of them. Obviously, Tom Thibodeau's been like, that's the shot we want to give up. But then if it goes in, you need to like game plan for that. But then I think the Pacers just really switched it on defensively in a way that New York couldn't do in the second half.
It is also worth mentioning that Aaron Naismith had 5 fouls and so did Jalen Brunson. Both they played 37 to 38 minutes each. Both coaches probably want to keep those guys at 48 minutes a game, right? And that's I'm so excited to see that battle. And we can talk about substitutions, we can talk about campaign, but like if Jalen Brunson's got that many fouls, he's gonna be off the court for 10 minutes. Like you're fucked. There's no way you win that.
Even if he has 41 points in the 32 minutes that he plays.
I'm really excited to see. He's gonna offensively foul people. It's not going to get called, and he's going to get fouled, and it's not going to get called. And I think both coaches, obviously you want to keep one, like the meta is 1 challenge for the end of the game. So just in this game, challenge something, got the ball. But I think you almost have to use that 1 challenge on getting a foul on Jalen Brunson or Thibodeau getting a foul on Aaron Naismith. I think it's just too valuable. And there's just no one else on this Indiana team that can guard him. Which is like, it's game 1, and I think we're already at that phase where it's like we're optimizing so much we have to use a challenge of one guy to get one of his 6 fouls. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
And because you're right, like so many Brunson, I'd love to actually look at a breakdown of it, but so many Brunson buckets came when Nembhard was guarding him, and Nembhard's like excellent defender. He's a really good defender, but like you just can't do anything. Like he's just so good once he gets into the paint against those guys who are a little bit are more his size. I think bloody I hate to give Reggie Miller the Reggie Miller of 2025 any props, but he was like, put Siakam on Brunson for a little bit, like just if Naismith is on 5 fouls or needs a break, like I don't think Nembhard's the way that I don't know, Mikal Bridges is playing or Josh Hart is playing, hide Nembhard on them for a few possessions and just like let's see Siakam have a go at Brunson. Like I think he's capable of keeping up with him for a few possessions.
It's going to be interesting. Prediction for the rest of the series?
I don't want to be reactive because like I thought the Knicks were just like pound for. I still think the Knicks are pound for pound better team.
Yeah.
But like the way they blew this lead and the consistency at which Indy have chased leads in this series, and I think one of the reasons this is probably gonna be the best series of the playoffs is that they're such a good matchup for each other, but in such a nice, even way. It's not like, oh, this nullifies this and this nullifies this. It's like, no, there's nothing that Indy can do about Brunson at a certain point, and there's nothing that the Knicks can do about Hallie at a certain point. So I'm gonna say Pacers in 7, but that's very reactive of me.
Yeah, like OKC lost game 1 to Denver, who just came in, who were exhausted, and just punched them first and got that win. So like, I think the Knicks, there's like a 99% chance they win game 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but like Indy game, fuck it. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what the prediction is. So you did Pacers in 7.
I'm doing Pacers in 7. Yeah.
Yeah, talent wise, I think. The problem is there's no one on the Knicks who's like hot, right?
Yeah.
Like if anything, they're cold.
Yeah.
And the Pacers are like Nemhard's the hottest shooter that isn't named Aaron Gordon, right?
Yeah.
If TJ McConnell can get you 10 points every game, like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that, like obviously the Hallie tip, like Hallie's a superstar, he can keep it going, but I just think that there's too many hot streaks in Indiana, and there's too much talent in New York. So I'm going to say New York in 7.
All right, I like that. Naismith had, what was he, 8 of 9?
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that in 2 days' time.
Yeah.
I think the Pacers of, the home court advantage has not mattered for the Pacers in all this playoffs.
Well, that's a bigger trend. But in OKC won that game 7. Before that game, the past 15 game sevens, 10 of them were won by the away team.
Really? Wow. God, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and so I think these stats have sort of been taken since COVID.
Yeah.
So since there was the bubble playoffs, where it's like there is no home court.
Yeah.
Since then,
right.
But I always remember, and I've mentioned that on this podcast maybe 5-6 times.
Yeah.
But Andre Iguodala in his book said. The 6th man. You can find my Amazon.
I'm putting my headphones in.
My Amazon partner link in the description. He said there's 3 stadiums in the NBA where things are just different. People understand basketball at a high level, and he said it's New York, Golden State, and Indiana.
Yeah, right.
So like,
shit.
If there's it's like basketball town. I've got the commas up for the people who on Patreon, but. I don't know, if there is to be a home court, let's say that like going home 1-1, I've already just said they're going to lose a game, but going home 1-1, fuck.
Yeah, they'll feel good about it. And like the Knicks, like they just haven't had the edge pressure-wise in the way that Indy has. Now, I know this is cringe, listeners, before we talk about it, but I actually just love the narrative around this series as well. Yeah. Like, for stuff that I usually find so cringe, like harking back to the 90s, Reggie Miller, bloody John Starks, etc., etc. The Celebrity Row with, 40 people in it.
We should talk about the Celebrity Row after this.
And then, obviously these two teams, these current teams rivalry, the Pacers eliminating the Knicks in the semis last season. But I don't know, usually I'd be like, shut up. Just I just want to watch some good basketball, but I'm loving it. Fucking, Walt, Clyde Frazier giving Jalen Brunson a hug mid-game. I don't know, I'm fully bought in.
Yeah, the whole Knicks.
Timmy Chalamet hitting the challenge. Yeah.
Which was the wrong thing for him to say. Because his team lost the ball and he was less than a meter away. And Brunson was like, inbound, come on, man, what are you doing? Yeah.
It lost them the game, actually.
But, we're not going to Timmy Chalamet for his basketball knowledge. He skipped the Met Gala to watch the Knicks in a hotel room because they were playing in Boston. He didn't go to the game. That's pretty hardcore.
He's about it.
I'm sure he went to the after party and had all the fun that
absolutely. He's like, sorry, Kylie. I'm here for you now.
Well, speaking of the Kardashians, did you see Kris Jenner's new face?
Nice.
So Chess showed me, she got like facelift or whatever, the whole thing. Yeah, bring it up, Jamie.
Chris Jenner, new face.
I said to Chess, I was like, wow. I said, look, I'm gonna have to actually tip my hat to plastic surgery here.
Holy moly!
I reckon this is like, still like, I don't think it's good. She's 70 years old, man. I reckon that's the best. That's a 70-year-old woman.
That looks like one of her daughters.
Yeah. Well, they all got work done.
Yeah. They all go to the same doctor,
got a same guy.
Far
Yeah,
out.
look at that one.
That's insane.
That's a 70-year-old woman.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I was like, look, you got to tap your hat. That's
It's a modern medicine.
Yeah, like that's because. Yeah, you're in 2005 and you're like, Paris Hilton's got whatever, right? And it's like, okay, well, I can tell, you know. 7-year-old me's like, no worries.
Modern medicine. They can rebuild Kevin Durant's knee and they can rebuild Chris Jenner's face.
Yeah, I guess, sure, you make your point. Like, the Achilles isn't the career ender.
Yeah.
70's not 70 yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty, I just thought I should bring that up on a basketball podcast. Yeah, Celebrity Row. A lot of Ben Stiller.
Yep.
A lot of action Brunson, which is quite cool.
I liked the lineup of John Hamm, David Zaslav, who's the CEO of Disney, and then Larry David and Susie, whatever her name is, from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I don't know her name.
That was a good little corner, I thought.
Dave Chappelle with Tracy Morgan.
Yep.
Dave Chappelle's always a good one. I think he's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like on the camera, and then Tracy Morgan, who I don't find as funny.
Yeah,
just jumps
his head in.
Yeah, it's like, that's funny. You guys are rich and famous, and you're fighting for camera time. That's well, I guess you are the funny, but whatever.
Heaps of the ex-players that they're like forcing almost to be at every game, like Steve Novak. Like,
yeah, right. I didn't see him. And when they do the trivia, it's like, you know, which Nick wore 33? Or was it Patrick Ewing? And then he just comes out of the darkness. It's like the Patrick Ewing one was cute. The lady was like, "Oh my god, you're Patrick Ewing!" But I saw a John Starks one in the second round, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for the jersey." And he goes, "Oh, what's up? I'm John." Oh, it's like, can't think him out of the lineup.
God damn, he was a legend according to that ESPN 30 for 30. I watched half of and then turned off.
Yeah, I had him on my 2K15 my team. We had like a throwback.
He was a big friend of the pod, Ned Ryan, loved that Knicks team in our Classic versus Currents tournament.
That's so rogue, man. They don't even have two bigs. All right, Minnesota OKC. Mini won game one by 26 points behind a 70-40 second half.
God.
Tony Edwards rolled his ankle in the first quarter. And the commentators were saying he actually bounces back from rolled ankles faster than anyone else. And people say he's got a bionic ankle, which, you know, might be true, but like, you know, ankle plus getting guarded by Caruso, J-Dub, Castle Wallace, and Lou Dort definitely doesn't help.
Yeah.
Caruso did the thing where he guards a big, so he was picking up Julius Randle and doing a fine job. It's actually, you know, I'd said to maybe in the group chat before the series started, where it's like, well, OKC's going from guarding Jokic to Randle, plus, I guess a much better Jamal Murray, but they're well prepared to guard guards. This is, he must feel pretty good going against
100%.
Going against Randle instead of Jokic. Where do you want to start with this, or trivia? Would you like trivia, Beck?
No, we'll save the trivia.
All right, we'll save the trivia.
Well, this was sort of where I thought the Knicks Pacers game was going, where Mini was sort of in it, like right up into the fourth quarter, and I do think the scoreline slightly flatters OKC. Like, I feel like there was a point in that fourth quarter where it was like, all right, we're gonna lose, and then, you know, the Thunder just were like, all right, well, let's show off. Let's but like apart from that, like, this is probably the one they had to win. Like, OKC off a 2-day break, and they've had like a week off. You know, like, if you're gonna steal a game at home, that's might be your best option. And like, obviously the Thunder are just limitlessly talented. Like, they have so much defensive versatility at every position. Like, you know, Shai's performing at an MVP level, but like, it's just not very promising what Mini got out of like so many of their players in this game. Like, Randall had a really, really good first half, and then just was not very effective in that second half. And like, I hadn't even really thought about Randall, you know, I guess being like a problem that OKC felt like they had to solve. I'm like, he was like excellent.
Against Golden State.
Against Golden State, and like, it's funny. It's almost like that series was like the moment this Minnesota season has clicked for them. Like it was like the best their offense has looked. And when Randall, you finally figure out where Randall fits into that offense, where it's like, oh, he actually is like such a good playmaker and like just opens up so much of the court for everyone else. But like, you know, against the Warriors, like you can put Draymond Green on him, or you can put Quinton Post on him, or you can put Kevin Looney, or you can put Trace Jackson Davis.
It's no wonder he's averaging 25 points.
Yeah, exactly. Versus like, all right, we'll put Isaiah Hartenstein on him, and that's like, we might lose a bit of what we want from Isaiah Hartenstein, you know. But otherwise,
Chet's helping.
And then if you can put Alex Caruso on him and get like a better result than Golden State can get with who they can put on him, then you're just playing with house money. Then just disappointing from like McDaniels, disappointing from Naz Reid, disappointing from Dante DiVincenzo,
who's been disappointing for a couple of months now.
He hit one big shot in the second round, and I was like, he's back, and then he just hasn't done anything else. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like, you like him as maybe your relief defense on SGA, but like he took like 10 or 11 shots.
He took 11 shots. He was 3 of 11. 0 fouls though. Like he was guarding Shai.
Sick. That's great.
You might know Shai as the free throw merchant.
Yeah, the guy
14 of them.
Loves lying on the ground. I don't. This. I'll cut to you, but I do have more to say. But I don't feel very promising about. I don't feel like there's a lot promising for Mini to take away from this, except this should have been the game they stole.
Okay. So you started that piece by saying we're giving OKC a bit too much shine, or maybe the scoreboard doesn't reflect how much they won by. Like, I'm predicting OKC wins in 5. Are you longer than me?
Nah.
Yeah,
5 or 6. Yeah.
Well, I think 5 or 4.
Fuck, that's brutal, man.
Because like, it's so hard to score against like this OKC team. I also think if Mini win this in 4 or 5, Denver's going to look so good, man. Like Jokic, like you should always give Jokic the MVP if Mini win if OKC wins in 5. But I just think it's going to be too hard. Like there's just too many holes, right? Where it's like Jalen McDaniels, he's not scoring for himself. Julius Randle had 28 points, but that's because partially because he hit 5 threes, right? And so it's like, Julius Randle had 28 points and he lost by 26. Anthony Edwards is going to play better, but I was like, what advantage does Rudy Gobert create, right? What advantage does Mike Conley create at 45 years old? Naz Reid, like, again, it's like the Jokic theory where it's like, okay, can Naz Reid get going? It's like, I don't know. This whole team just stopped Jokic, right? So they're going to do fine against Naz Reid. And then, all their backups that they play in real minutes, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, and Jalen Clark?
No.
Something Clark.
Really?
He's the guy who...
Oh, Jalen Clark, yeah. He played 6 minutes.
He played 6 minutes. He played like 2 minutes throughout the season or something, throughout the playoffs beforehand. But during the regular season, they threw him on Shai. He did a good job. But it's like, he's not creating his own shot as well. He's just a 3-and-D guy. And like Mini's offense is very much like Anthony Edwards, do something spectacular, and everything just works off that. If he's not doing something spectacular because he has to get through 50 great defenders, and then the end result is maybe a contested shot with one of their 2 big men. Like, I think this is curtains for Mini.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so I like Mini are like the clumsiest team in the NBA, where their offensive style is so undefined. Like you said, it is just like give the ball to Ant and hope something magical happens, and they just get bogged down in the half court. And that's why it was like so promising that Randall looks good against the Warriors, because it's like, I don't love Julius Randle as a player or an archetype, but like there's a system you can work off him. There's an offense you can create off Julius Randle. But if you're playing against this OKC team and like they're turnover prone, like Edwards and Randle, although they're both like, they're both playmakers, but they're not point guards. It's not. Julius Randle isn't LeBron James. It's a secondary attribute of his. But they're both so what's the word? They're both so clumsy with the ball. Like they both give up heaps of turnovers, and I think they had like 6 and 7 each. Something in this game.
You're right. They're not pure point guards. Like Anthony Edwards did a really good job dissecting the Lakers defense. I think like JJ Redick's done a good job with what he's got, but it's like Anthony Edwards has been like, okay, cool. Here is like who's the AR-15, what's his name?
Austin Reeves.
Here's Austin Reeves, here's Rui Hachimura. I'm eventually going to fucking figure it out, right? And Luka Doncic, right? You're going to figure that out.
I'll probably run past them, and then if I meet someone at the rim, like one of my guys is going to be open in the corner. That doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen. There's no Austin Reeves. Like the only hole they would have is like maybe Shai or Isaiah Joe. And Mark Daigneault's like, okay, I just won't play Isaiah Joe.
Well, and he did in this game as well. I feel like that's the confidence he had going into this game. So I think like for Mini to win a game, Anthony Edwards has to have a huge game. He has to not turn the ball over. Rudy Gobert needs to like do something on offense, which is so impossible for him because like they've done it. They won. They won.
The Lakers closeout game. 5. We had like 2020 or
whatever. And it was like that was just like, okay, I've realized that I'm several inches taller than LeBron James, who can't jump, Rui Hachimura,
Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes, who can't play, Jared Vanderbilt. So you just throw the ball up to me a bit high and I'll catch it and then I'll put it in the net. And he did that. But you can't do that against OKC because one, they have all of these guards who like know how to face guard big. So like, I don't know, even if Rudy gets the switch onto Alex Caruso, that's Alex Caruso's ball. Like he's going to find a way to force a turnover there. And then you have Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren to meet at the rim. And like Rudy's never been a big on big offensive guy. Like he's just never performed that way in the playoffs. Especially. You need to somehow get something out of him if you want to win a game. So the path to victory is so faint for this mini team.
You're not going to get 28 points from Julius Randle again for the rest of the series.
Yeah, wow, God. And even if you do, you lose
by 26. There's no variance. Like, okay, maybe Dante DiVincenzo eats his shots, right? Like, he was 3 of 14. But you're down by 26. He's not making up 26 points.
He also shouldn't be taking 14 shots. What was their bench was like 5 of 30 from 3 or something like that. And it's why is your bench taking 30 3-point shots? That's not acceptable.
Can you tell me top 3 minutes leaders for this OKC team in this game?
Just in this game? SGA?
SGA is number 1.
J-Dub?
Is number 2.
Lou Dort? Isaiah Hartenstein? Fuck. Chet Holmgren? Wait, okay, so those are the 3 other starters. Case and Wallace? Oh, wow. There was a lot of Case and Wallace. To be fair.
33 minutes.
Jesus, 33.
2 fouls, 3 points, 7 assists.
Wow. 7 assists. That's great. And some great possessions on Ant.
I remember like a year ago, someone was like, oh, if Castle Wallace was on like the Kings, he'd be in the rookie year discussion, right? He's so good. He's so good. And he's just doing this thing. It's like he's doing like a my career challenge where it's like, don't score, just be like the best role player anyone ever days. Struggling, and they've just got him. They've just got him cost control for this year and 2 more.
Then Denver would kill for OKC's 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th best player.
Just one of them. Well, I think like at the start of the year, I was like, if Denver had Kenrich Williams, would he back up Jokic for 15 minutes ago?
7th best player.
And he's like the OG vet who's like, we can't play it.
He's Nick Collison 2.0.
So your predictions in 5.
My predictions in 5.
Maybe you want to make a graphic. I'll do me at 4, so it's a bit different.
For what it's worth, housemate of the show Ollie says Mini in 5. So
Yeah.
I don't know where he got that idea.
He messaged me the game after Steph went down.
Yeah.
And we won.
Yeah.
And then he said mini in 5. And every single game I watched, I was like, can't wait to reply to him and be like, I've just run the maths here. It might be 6, right? And then they
wanted 5.
Yeah. All right, awards.
Yeah.
We can talk about the other ones. But yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has received 913 MVP votes, beating Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic was 783. Now, if those numbers mean nothing to you, they mean nothing to anyone else. First place votes, SGA got 71, Jokic got 29, Giannis came third. And then there was a huge gap, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron, Cade, and Anthony Edwards. Shai getting 71 first place votes, I think that's the newsworthy thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what does that make you think?
I think that, I mean, the way I feel and the way that like most, podcasters and journalists I listen to is that like it was a nice edge. No one felt convincingly about either choice, and that just like pure games won is what probably tipped most people into SGA. Like 64 wins, 68 wins?
68 wins.
68 wins.
That's almost crazy. That's fucked.
That's very close to the Golden State Warriors record season.
Yeah.
And like definitely 100% that deserves to be respected. And like I don't think anyone's going to be like, Shai had a bloody easy year. There was no competition or anything. His competition was Nikola Jokic somehow having the best season of his career. Like,
average triple-double.
Yeah.
And I know you don't like say average triple-double, but it's like he's been so close for 5 years. He joins Bill Russell and Larry Bird as the only guys to be in the top 3 5 consecutive years.
Wow, that's great. That's good. That's good. All right.
And just like, I think we're both in the same boat here. It's so fine that Shai Gilgeous, but it just makes that Joel Embiid season look so fucked.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
It's like Shai's just a much better, and the whole media narrative with Joel Embiid winning, and the fact that we're just never going to see him be an all-star again for the rest of his life.
Yeah. And I think, that year was particularly galling because Joel Embiid immediately flamed out in the playoffs and Jokic went and won the championship. This season, at least, like, nobody's saying except Lucas in the depths of his depravity that SJ isn't contributing to it.
Yeah,
to winning on this OKC team.
He's full cooked about that. It's so dumb.
I think this is a Zach Loweism. I'm not going to take credit for it, but it's like there are hardly any players who, if you took SGA out of this OKC team and put them in, they would be this good,
Yeah.
You can't just get some run-of-the-mill fucking, I don't know, you can't get Darius Garland and then...
Well, it's probably really good.
Yeah, they're still really good, but they're not winning 68.
True.
68 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, who's scoring 30 a night if Darius Garland is the starting point guard for OKC City Thunder,
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Darius Garland's an all-star, and like, I think that's the sort of distinction we have to make, is that Shai is like quite above that level of player. Yeah.
Like, who's the second best guard? Like, Donovan Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell regularly flames out in the playoffs and just can't be consistent.
Or like, I don't know, Luka Doncic. But
I completely forgot about him.
That's a conversation.
They're both.
Luka should have an MVP. Luka would have an MVP if he didn't exist in this era of MVP dominant big man.
Do you like do you follow Kurt Goldsberry on Instagram?
No, I don't think so. I don't follow NBA.
I don't follow. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I follow the NBA.
Well, you sort of almost have to. I feel like it just comes up. But he had this nice graphic that I can't show on my phone because my phone's on airplane mode.
Should I try and get it up on?
It's Jamie getting it up
on the scene.
Oh, here I got it. Oh. MVP winners: American flag, American flag, American flag until all eyes.
Wow.
In the past 7, 6, 6.
7, because SGA is Canadian.
Yeah, oh, true.
Yeah,
plus 7 have been not born in America.
Isn't that great?
I don't know, everyone's been talking about this forever, but this graphic is...
Yeah. Pick up your game, though.
America.
USA? Like, seriously.
It's just Tony Edwards now, isn't it?
You haven't won an MVP in bloody 8 years.
Yeah.
I think
Dickhead America.
When's Anthony Edwards going to win an MVP over SGA? Like, you know?
Yeah, true.
Like, I like, all right. Sorry, this is a dumb discussion to have, but like, who's going to win it next year? Jokic again?
Yeah, Shai again.
Victor Wembanyama if the Spurs are a good playoff team.
He's from Gorman.
Yeah. Famous for its fine silks produced by underground spiders. A burgeoning rebellion as well. Or it's going to be Shai again, or it's going to be Luka. Like,
true.
Where's the room for Anthony Edwards to come in?
Especially if they're just meat and potatoes offense.
Yeah.
They are the cold night in Minnesota. Talk about America. That's funny.
Yeah.
True. And like, I guess Steph's American. Real silly.
Golly gosh.
Yeah, he's true. Yeah, the top 5.
Yeah. And this isn't even there's no Giannis, there's no Joel Embiid. Discussion.
I guess the next player is Jason Tatum.
Yeah, true. Who's not going to be playing basketball for at least 15 months. Like, far out.
I was listening to Nate Duncan and John Hollinger do veteran extensions, and they're like, do you extend Porzingis, Al Horford, Drew Holiday? Probably not. Right?
Yeah.
Fucking, what's going to change?
It's fully, like, they could fully gut them.
Yeah.
And it would be crazy and kind of terrible.
And they could do a gap year. They own all their picks.
Yeah. But like, it would be, I hate Boston as much as the next bloke, but it would be upsetting to see that core just completely dissipate. And what you just play with Jalen Brown and Peyton Pritchard for the trade Derek White, you probably get 2 firsts for him. Also,
like, the Nuggets would give you 2 firsts and a kidney for Derek White.
Fuck, it would be great.
Jamal
Actually, he would be fantastic.
Well, they were
in the case of Hero, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, let's just pivot onto news and discussion. Yeah. But they were talking about maybe Drew Holiday for MPJ.
Oh, Jesus. Would Boston want that?
He expires. He's got 2 more years of his deal, so no, they wouldn't.
He also plays the same position as
their 2 best players. Yeah. And he's not very well.
To the level they do.
Yeah, I'm working on a video for the film room. Find us youtube.com/@thedeep2 on Denver's off-season moves. And remember how we were talking like 6 months ago where it's like, oh, what about Cam Johnson? MPJ Cam Johnson. They actually can't do that trade anymore.
Really?
Because they need to like take back
the same amount of money.
No. So Cam Johnson gets paid less.
Yeah.
But they need to take back like he's like 20 mil and MPJ is like 38, which is just disgusting.
Yeah.
38. Yeah, and you need to take back like, I should probably, before I open my stupid mouth, there's like 175.
It'll be more refined on the film room.
It'll be more refined on the film room. They can't do a straight squad.
Yeah, right.
And the only salary that they have that's above a minimum or a rookie deal is Nick Claxton.
Yeah.
They obviously don't want Nick Claxton, so you would have to reroute him to a third team.
Yeah.
And then you take him back, let's say it's Charlotte, and you take him back Nurkic, and it's like, what are we doing?
Well, and also, does Brooklyn want to trade Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton?
Just for MPJ, 2 picks for the team that has Jokic? Yeah. It's a great question.
Yeah. They're like, well, probably can get something better. Yeah. Those ones are good because it's like, it makes sense for the Nuggets and it makes sense for the Nets, but the moment they're going to trade Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, and get something better than 2 years of Michael Porter Jr. on 40 there.
Yeah, you can get Jonathan Kuminga.
Is that Scarif?
Yeah, that's Scarif. All right. Report from Jake Fisher that the Sixers are willing to listen to trade down offers for the number 3 pick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should use it. Do you think they should use it?
Yeah, I think it's like Maxey McCain, 3rd pick.
Yeah.
The report says that there is no consensus number 3. whatever, it's Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe. Apparently Dylan Harper's a lock to go too.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's like you just gotta develop Maxi, this pick, Jared McCain, and let's say you get 40 games out of Joel Embiid, that'll be fun, but get a really good backup because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
And if you can trade Paul George by the deadline.
Yeah. And if you can get lucky and get 60 games out of Joel Embiid and, 60 games out of Paul George and he's better than this season, like...
Yeah, you just sell tickets at this point.
Yeah, exactly right.
So bad.
Do they own their future picks? Are they traded away?
I believe they own all... They don't, but like, Daryl Morey never gives away an unprotected, so all these picks...
Yeah, they're top 7 protected or whatever. Yeah, like this year's was,
Yeah. Let me get that up for you, though. It's Houston... that's incoming.
Because would one have to convey for the one that they didn't lose this year? Like, is it...
Oh, actually, they owe... Oh my God.
Do they owe OKC their pick next year because this year's was top 6 protected?
Yeah.
Is that possibly correct?
You're right.
Yeah.
Except it's protected 1 to 4.
Yeah, right. So... it's some Daryl Morey.
For sure. Yeah.
Daryl Morey and Sam Presti sat in a room and jerked each other off for 2 hours and came up with these protections.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. Cool. I'm actually going to get off that page. That's a lot of words. What's another report? Celtics may have to attach a draft pick to trade Drew Holiday. That coming from Jake Fisher.
Really? How, because he got 1 more year left on his deal too.
He's owed 104 over the next 3 years.
Shit. Golly gosh. I don't know. I think there'll be a edge of contention team who will want Drew for the player that he is.
Yeah, like, he's 34.
Yeah,
and so they'll be paying him through 37.
He'd taken a step back this season, but I think there's a role for him on a good NBA teams.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, he needs to go to a team where you don't really care about the regular season production.
Yeah.
So Alex Caruso, where it's like, hey, we'll take Alex Caruso. We're going to play him 15 minutes a night because we're not relying on him as our one good defender. And then playoffs come out and it's like, hey, guard a 7 foot. And he's like, yeah, cool, man. What else is on the bloody... Mike Conley hopes to play at least 2 more seasons.
Oh, good on him.
Shout out to Lucas. He said that Mike Conley is the reason the Minnesota Timberwolves win basketball games.
Yeah, I don't know about that at the moment. He would be Minnie not going to win the finals from here, but he'd be the vet you're happy for on that team to win a championship.
The Phoenix Suns are targeting a new starting center.
Holy gosh.
Nicholas Batum's going to play another year. Oh, this is one of my favourite things to do every year. I didn't know they were out. All rookie teams.
Oh yeah.
Can you guess them?
I have looked at it, so it will be cheating.
Right.
But let me see if I can recall it. First team: Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
Zachary Shai.
Yeah.
Alex Sarr.
Yeah.
Jalen Wells.
Yeah.
And Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, nice.
That's fucking sick motherfucker.
And then second team's got to have my boy Eve on it.
It does.
And then now I'm gonna start blanking though. No, I'm fully. I've lost it at 6.
Matas Bazelis.
Yep.
Bub Carrington.
Yep.
Donovan Clingan. And Khalil Ware.
Oh yeah, Khalil Ware.
Yeah.
He had a nice little late season, right? Didn't he?
Starter.
Yeah. And yeah, Bob Carrington. There's a little bit of hope for the Washington Wizards who fell out of the fucking lottery.
So that's where it was like, we won 18 games to get Kaspers and Jojunkas. So bad. The Nick Batum's going to play another year.
He was really good in that first round series.
He was,
genuinely like their best player at the moment.
Michael Malone to join ESPN.
Yeah, I think he's already been on the airwaves, and he's being too stay with me on this one. He's been too Adam Simpson for ESPN.
I don't know Adam Simpson.
Adam Simpson, the former head coach of the West Coast Eagles, has come on to I think Fox Footy coverage, and if not Fox Footy, it'll be 7. And he's just actually doing way too good footy coverage. Like he's just analyzing, defensive schemes and stuff like that. And it's great to watch. Yeah. But like obviously Fox Footy talk about the bloody narrative, And I think the same thing's happening to Michael Malone. Like he's true.
He's too smart.
He's getting in the room with Kendrick Perkins, and they're like, stop talking about stop talking about pick and roll coverages and start talking about
Kendrick Perkins doesn't know what a pick is.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams fined $25,000 for profanity on shirt.
Okay.
It said, "Fuck art, let's dance." Should he have been fined for that?
What does that mean? Is it like
that's from somewhere.
Is it like a brand? I kind of fuck with that.
Yeah, you
Fuck
fucking
art,
you
let's
would.
dance. Oh, it's some sort of German music / fashion team.
Classic.
God,
They love it.
legendary. And that was J-Dub or
J-Dub.
yeah, nice.
Well, yeah.
It's like it's like an electronica thing. I didn't know he was into that. Yeah,
That's nice. God, he just further jumps up the beer ranking. Sixers linked with a potential trade for Kevin Durant or Larry Markkinen.
Oh God, Jesus. That's the trade.
Imagine if it's like the third pick for Larry and then the Jazz can
Oh, that's nice.
draft a
I don't know if that would be. Yeah, actually, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the right direction for the Sixers, but
yeah. Horrible direction.
another guy who's, well, his injury history is just so unclear because he's been quote unquote injured on and off for the past 3 seasons.
Larry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Tenzer has chance to become Nuggets permanent GM.
Okay.
He took the interim role.
What do you
I
think?
didn't know that.
How would you rate David Adelman's performance in this playoffs? Do you think he gets the full-time job after this?
I think he does because they're cheap and he's going to come cheap. But I think he was a figurehead.
Yeah, right.
I think
It was Jokic.
Jokic was coaching,
Yeah.
and he was definitely saying player zone, hey, flash a zone for the first 5 seconds, then go to a man. Right? He was getting him in line defensively, and maybe that's what the next Nuggets coach does.
Yeah.
But offensively, Michael Malone wasn't a genius offensive coach.
No.
He was like, hey, get on the weak side and run a pick and roll with our two best players, and then something's going to happen because this guy's way smarter than me.
Yeah.
Let's say they sign Kenny Atkinson this offseason. It's probably not going to change the offense too much. And I think that might be a little bit of a detriment on Jokic because he probably doesn't want to do that because he's had success doing what he can.
Yeah.
And I don't think you need to change the offense that much.
No.
You just need a better Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
You need better players. Like the offensive scheme around Jokic is actually completely optimized, like schematically at least. And it is, run a pick and roll with your two best players and make sure the other three guys can shoot. But the talent is just not good enough. That's all it is for the Nuggets, is they just don't have good enough basketball players.
And it just comes rocking down to money.
Yeah.
Like I know there's we've talked heaps about KCP and old mate, but it's like it's better to keep KCP because Julian Strawther can only play 5 minutes in the whole playoffs.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like, well, if you'd kept KCP, even though he had kind of a shit season for Orlando, you have KCP and you have Christian Brown, and he's probably not getting in the way of Christian Brown's minutes because the minutes that KCP would be using are getting taken up by Julian Strawther,
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, exactly right.
Also, they're paying $8 million to Zeke Naji this year and the next 2 years, and they're paying $5 million to Dario Saric.
Yeah. The Dario Saric thing is just terrible, isn't it? Because he just hasn't touched the court even in the regular season.
He's played 16 games.
Yeah, well, Calvin Booth might have been an idiot.
And we definitely looked at him initially and said, "You look like an idiot."
Yeah,
and
we'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Because Bones Highland was proper good for the first 10 games. Yeah, he plays for Minnesota. Well, he doesn't. All right, final report. Joe Dumas and the New Orleans Pelicans want to make things work with Zion Williamson.
God bless. They sent him to the draft. He was our the draft lottery. Yeah.
The Pelicans selected Zion Williamson to be their on-stage representative at the 2025 NBA draft lottery. It was just about putting a familiar face on TV.
God.
I think they misspelled wasn't. Selecting Williamson instead served notice that New Orleans is still committed to his future with the team.
I mean, what else are you going to say, really?
Yeah. Nice that he went, but
I do think I don't know. I do think trading Zion isn't a foregone conclusion. You know,
I don't think it is either.
Yeah. Because last season was a dumpster fire. What else are you going to do?
Remember we were sitting on this couch and we were like, hey, he's playing really well, and you're like, just don't rest him, just string together 30 games.
Yeah.
No, I think if he doesn't work with you guys, it's like not going to work anyway.
No one is being like, oh, there's a reclamation project or anything, because it's not like I don't know, like the Raptors trade for Brandon Ingram, right? And bad trade by the Raptors, just FYI. But like there's this sort of like, oh, well, maybe if we use him in this offense and he's not competing for touches with like another ball dominant
power forward, like Scotty Barnes.
You'd take my point. But with Zion, it's never like, oh, the fit's not right. It's like the guy just doesn't play basketball. When he plays, he's incredible. When he plays, like he's been like top 5. I would dare say that stretch when we were on the top of the ladder, the top of the AFL ladder, he was like top 5 player in the league. He was averaging like fucking the most efficient 28 points anyone had ever seen over like a month span.
Yeah, it's good, and you don't worry about fit at all. It's like it'll just work out.
Yeah. But if he doesn't stay healthy, we'll just be doomed until forever, basically.
God, you're so sad.
Yeah, lots of sad franchises around the league, mate.
Thankfully I'm not one of them yet. Is there anything you want to wrap on?
No, actually, I was going to open with this, but I was just listening to the new Surprise Chef album on the way over to the gym. What do you reckon?
Good.
Yeah.
Is it fully out yet?
Right.
I thought it was just because I pre-saved like the first like 5 songs that came out.
Right.
Really good. It made me go back and listen to their first album again because I was like, because their first 3 albums were very similar.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. They've got their sound. It's really nice. And this is who they are. It's wonderful. But this is different. This is a lot more experimental.
Yeah, which like this is I was gonna try and tie this back into basketball in some way.
Thank God you did.
But it's like this if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of thing. Where it's like, but like musicians and other creatives are always like constantly challenged to shake up their sound, and like if you release 4 albums that sound the same and they're all awesome, like there's one perspective that's like, that's great, like your sound, keep making good songs that sound like that, but other people are like, oh, is it getting stale?
True.
Like
but I guess like you're not Sabrina Carpenter, right? It's not like you're just making millions and trillions of dollars. Like you are like a jazz band, right? Funk soul.
You need people to stay interested in your music, and there might be some people like, fuck, that sounds like the last one, I'm not gonna buy the vinyl. And
see, I said to Education and Recreation, I said this sounds like the last one, and I have the vinyl.
But
I'm a sick fuck.
You are a sick fuck.
I often think about when housemate of the program and nominal Minnesota Timberwolves fan Ollie came over to my house for my birthday, and I said, oh yeah, come look at my crap, because I love things. He goes, oh, you're a trinket man. I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, Marco told me you're a trinket man. I was like, I would call this a collection. He goes, call it whatever you want. And then like we went upstairs and he goes, see, more trinkets. And I was like, okay, well that is a trinket actually.
It's a collection of trinkets. That's the thing. Yeah.
Fuck, I love trinkets.
Yeah, you love getting things.
If I was a caveman, let's say
caveman.
Yeah. Dante said townhouse today. It was so funny. But if I was a caveman, let's say you and I was like, let's go hunting, right?
Yeah.
A hunting gathering. You're hunting, you're probably getting a nice bit of steak.
Yeah.
I'm collecting, I'm gathering.
You're gathering.
You're
looking at some cool berries and stones. You're just getting stones.
I'm just getting things to put in my cave. You're not berries, mate. I'm gathering the hard stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
By that I mean rocks.
I don't want to be, I don't want to make it out that like I'm some sort of Zen Buddhist with no attachment to objects or anything, but I just don't have the same desire to collect stuff that you knew.
Have you ever tried Buddhism?
I got a lot of books, but even then I'm like man, I've bought apart from art books actually, but I've bought like maybe 3 or 4 books a year, and I just get gifted the rest, or I go to the library, whereas bloody how many DVDs have you bought in the last 6 months?
Well, let's wrap up the pod and I'll show you. All right, thanks for listening, and thanks for continuing to listen to the end.
Bye.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.